Microsoft's bringing back an old Xbox feature, and we now know the date of the next Xbox event. Users of the Xbox One will likely remember a feature that allowed you to stream your Xbox console to other devices in your house. With the launch of the Xbox Series S and X, that feature hasn't been available, but that, my friends, is changing today. Microsoft has announced a new update for the Xbox app that is coming to insiders. So if you're not an insider, it's not available yet, along with the other features we're going to talk about here in a second. But this has been one that has been asked time and time again, and now we have an answer that, well, you just have to wait just a little bit longer if you're not an insider. But if you are an insider, you can start streaming your console games internally once again. This is a good news because this was a neat little feature that just added a little bit of additional value, especially if your console was downstairs and you couldn't walk downstairs to play it. You can now stream it back and forth, which is just a neat little thing. But realistically, what Microsoft is actually announcing today, because this was a bonus add-on, if you will, is that they're now bringing cloud gaming inside the Xbox app again for alpha insiders, which means that the Xbox app is slowly once again becoming the be-all end-all gaming solution in the world of Microsoft and Windows and Xbox. For a while there, it got kind of weird because there were apps like the Xbox Companion app, and then there were Xbox Windows 10 apps, and it looks like Microsoft is just kind of like chucking that to the side and is once again just building a robust singular app, which is sort of clearing the ground and making things just a lot easier to understand. So what can you do with the new app? Well, it makes it easier to play Xbox Cloud Gaming. Microsoft doesn't have to worry about you logging in through a browser. While browser is still available, directly playing cloud gaming in the app is just a little bit better way. It's just a little cleaner at the end of the day. Along with the new features, they're also enabling easy to access information on the controller and network status. There's also social features to stay connected with people, and the ability to invite people, even those who are playing on cloud without the game installed, to join a game, which basically means that if you're running a game locally and you have friends in the cloud, there's now that cross-cloud. Yes, I guess that's the appropriate way to talk about it. Gaming is now enabled, at least through this experience, which is kind of neat. That means that basically if your friends just want to start playing through the cloud streaming because they can't download the 100 gigs of whatever you're trying to download, they can now just do that real quickly, which is a nice beneficial feature of Xbox Cloud Gaming. So, neat little update that is rolling out. Be on the lookout for just a bigger update running out to everybody sometime in the near future. Now that it's alpha insiders, then in the near future, the rest of us should get it. But the bigger announcement, well, that's not a non-big announcement, I should say. To me, the bigger announcement is that Microsoft is saying that on August 24th is when they're going to have their Gamescom 2021 live stream. That will be taking place at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. BST, or 10 a.m. PT. If those time zones aren't where you live, well, you're going to have to do some math to figure it out. Now, Aaron Greenberg has already sort of hedged and says, hey, this isn't going to be a massive, there's not going to be like a bunch of showcase games that have never talked about anything before. It's going to be an update on titles that are likely arriving this year, and I say likely because that's the schedule, but as we all know in the gaming world, sometimes things slip, so no new reveals or major surprises according to Greenberg. That being said, there is one major title that we know is coming this year, Halo Infinite, and it would seem crazy that they want to at least talk about it in some passing. I don't know if we're going to get the launch date and everything else, but this falls right into the category of like, hey, there's things coming, we know that this is happening, that's launching sometime this holiday season, so Halo Infinite being at least showcased in some capacity, I think is completely expected. The other piece of information I hope we hear more about is potentially that Xbox fridge. I don't know if we'll get a launch date for that, but it is a gaming event and Microsoft does sort of crazy stuff sometimes, so maybe we'll get launch dates for that. So considering it's a Monday, the fact that we have an Xbox app update that returns a feature that everybody's just been wanting for a long time, streaming your Series S and X internally, or locally I should say, has been a big request, and the fact that we now know the Gamescom launch timeline. I was going to say we don't know all the games that are coming, but we can probably hypothesize quite heavily because we know what games are launching later this year. So there you go. This is your Monday morning Xbox news brief. Not every Monday has these, but today kind of felt like it was warranted. And if you want to keep updated on potentially other Xbox Monday morning news briefs, make sure to keep it subscribed here because the only BS on this channel is me.